Good to see you, man. Thanks so much for your time.
What's up, PD Beats?
Not much, man. Not much. So it's interesting because one of my favorite things about this show is the setting, right? The house. When you get to the house, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, when you read the script, right? They're probably saying big house, right, before a wedding, creepy and everything. But what's it like actually getting there and seeing everything come to life? That script to screen journey.
Yeah, I kind of was picturing it differently in my head when I read the script. Maybe not as like architectural digest home tour vibes, like more like cabin in the woods, rustic. But then when I got on set and I saw the vision and the production design, I just was like, oh, I get it now. It's like a house that pulls you in that you never want to leave because it's just so, beautifully designed, but it also has this like darkness to it, this like sinister quality. Walking, it was 2 sets with like, a hallway that would connect them. And we started filming on one of the sets, like with the love cave, all the, Rachel and Nicky, episode 1, the rooms they're staying in, those kind of scenes. And then they were still building a lot of the other stuff as the show went on. And then, the basement and other things were built on another stage. But yeah, a lot of it was shot on the stage, but it didn't really feel like it was a stage. It felt like you were just chilling at home. But then you'd go outside and be like, oh, right, it's like the middle of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you answered
kind
my
of disorienting.
Like, I was going to ask if this was a set or if this was, an actual house. So
the exterior was a house, and then they VFX'd, I think, the atrium, this part, the addition where the wedding takes place. They VFX'd that in. But yeah, the exterior is like a real home in Ontario. I can't remember exactly where, but I wonder what they will think when they see this.
Show, 2 things come to mind, right? Like, one, the horror movie kind of horror component, like it's very scary, right? But then the other side of it, Adam, I'm like, it's a very what is happening show, right? With that kind of mystery component, right? Those are 2 different things, though. How do you kind of prepare for that mindset-wise as an actor? The really scary stuff, but also the kind of mystery, cryptic, what is happening component of it.
Yeah, well, I never really felt like Nicky was in a horror movie. I think Cammie's character, I think Rachel is existing in like, she's like, this is a horror movie. I mean, everything she's experiencing is insane. I think she's also, her character is always smoking these joints. I think she's a little bit paranoid, making herself paranoid about what's going on. But I think it was easier to play up the kind of cryptic, mysterious, what is going on side of things. It's more actionable, I think, as an actor to kind of play that stuff. But I love stories like that where it's like a slow burn and the audience is kind of playing catch up, and it keeps you engaged, keeps you wanting to see what happens and where things go. Yeah, I don't like when there's too much exposition or the audience is like spoon-fed everything. The audience is smarter, than you think they are.
Absolutely. And, I'm really excited to ask you this because, I'm a filmmaker as well. So my filmmaking hat asks you this question right now. So we're gonna see some scenes, with your character in the car, and it's like, the runtime, or like in the house, the runtime is like 2 minutes, right? And then we go to the next scene and everything. But I know that there's a chance that scene probably took the whole day or a couple of days or like a week. Like sometimes those big scenes take a long time to film. When those big scenes happen, right, where they feel like they're a long time, do they feel like their own mini movie, mini project, or do they feel overall part of the something very bad is going to happen?
Yeah, I think there was a decision made pretty early on by, I think, Weronika, or I don't know who made it, but to do these kind of oneers, I think it kind of, you don't provide viewers like with a relief if when every time you cut, maybe people can breathe or something, but if you stay just like in a one shot, it keeps the tension high. And then all the cast, we were just more than willing to kind of jump into that. It's so fun. It feels more like theater when you're doing these long extended scenes where you don't cut and there's all these moving parts and you have to wait off camera for like your cue to come in. Yeah, it just felt really playful. But yeah, of course you run into those issues of like trying to make sure you don't mess anything up, or everyone has to be kind of like on it for them to work. But yeah, there's so many cool. I mean, we would shoot the master almost like a oneer almost every time. then they would go in for like little pieces of coverage. But yeah, the car scene was. Are you talking about the one where like the camera's spinning in the middle, or I don't?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, I'm just thinking in general, just a lot of those scenes in the big house, right? You know what I mean? And like walking down the halls, you know, we see a couple of like minutes, right? But like maybe you were just like literally doing those couple of sequences the whole day. You know, you never know.
I can't remember how many pages we were doing, but those sequences definitely took some time. But I think they paid off. Like I love a one-er, like an extended kind of moment, you know, really pulls you in because you're waiting for something to happen, and it's just like adds to that slow burn horror kind of effect. Absolutely.
And then it's interesting too because, you know, you look at like something like this in your past work, it's like different worlds, different characters, but it's all storytelling at the end of the day. And I'm curious if you bring kind of mindsets or preparations from something like The Order, White Lotus, Overcompensating to something like this show, or are they completely separate once you wrap them?
Yeah, I don't really have like a set process that I applied, like copy and paste to every role. I think I approach everything kind of with where I'm at in life currently, and I try to bring a little bit of that energy to it. And then, I mean, this show, it's like, I guess it's kind of similar. It was similar to White Lotus when I read it, in a sense that it was like all of these overlapping characters with their own point of view, but everyone's kind of doing a different thing. And everyone's, you know, I felt like with my character, just if I could bring elements of myself to it, it would help help the story maybe. But yeah, a lot of it was just like in the strength of Haley's writing. You know, with good writing, you just kind of have to show up and say your lines, and the story takes care of everything else.
And you're great in this show, man, and congratulations to you and everyone.
Thank
I love
you.
the show. I can't wait for people to see Something Is Very Bad is going to happen on Netflix. Adam, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Cheers. Have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.